I look from the tower of my years, I call my life into the pit. No time but space, no here but there, no sense but memory, everywhere, nowhere. The doubtful story, the knotted handkerchief, the where are you ever present dead, whose names transport me instantly to childhood, tracking the long way back to Christmas in a stocking. So DNA designs the stuff of dreams, an old age that doesn't need to be. Some Proustian taste or scent or singing phrase defies the natural law it disobeys. Life will be mine as long as my mind is me. While youth, its wounds, anxieties, and pain are best remembered, not endured again.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something really quite profound. We've got this amazing poem at 85. It's just a fascinating way to look at memory and how it shapes our sense of time, ourselves, especially, as we age. We usually think time's just this straight line, forwards only. But what if our minds don't actually work that way? So our mission today is to explore how these sources give us this really unique perspective on aging, memory, identity. Think of it as a bit of a shortcut maybe to understanding the rich landscape inside our own heads.
Absolutely. And this poem, it really zeroes in on that central question, doesn't it? What does it mean to age, and how does memory fit in? Where does our self even live in all that? It's definitely more than just remembering things. It's about this whole inner journey.
Okay, let's jump right in then. The poem starts with this really powerful image. I look from the tower of my years, I call my life into the pit.
Wow. Okay, so looking down from a tower into a pit. What does that immediately make you think about, looking back? Well, that tower, it's clearly more than just years piling up. It's a specific viewpoint, right? The perspective you get from old age. And from up there, the speaker is looking into the past, this pit. And crucially, in that pit, the usual rules of time and space seem to just dissolved. The poem says, no time but space, no here but there, no sense but memory, everywhere, nowhere. So the past isn't shown as a timeline we walk along. It's more like this huge interconnected space, a landscape.
A landscape, I like that. But if
Yeah.
it's not a neat timeline, what does that say about how reliable memories are? The poem calls memory the doubtful story, the knotted handkerchief.
Mm-mm.
That makes me think, are we sort of making the story as we remember it?
Exactly. I think that's spot on. Those phrases, they're so evocative, aren't they? They suggest remembering isn't like playing back a perfect recording. It's often messy, fragments, maybe not entirely accurate, doubtful.
Yeah.
And the knotted handkerchief, that's like a mnemonic device, right? Tying a knot to remember. It hints that remembering isn't passive, it's an active thing, sometimes deliberate. We're piecing things together, constructing our own history.
Right. And this idea of the past being a kind of space, not just a line, it seems to apply to people too, especially those who've passed away. There's that really poignant line, the where are you ever present dead?
Mm.
And the example given, how just hearing their names can zap the speaker back to childhood, specifically Christmas in the stocking.
Mm. It's such a powerful way to show how people we've lost are still, well, part of us. Inside, they're ever present, not just as an idea, but in these sudden, vivid moments of recall. It really shows how one tiny trigger, like a name, can just unlock this flood of deep memories, sensory details and all. It collapses time, doesn't it? Shows how potent memory can be. Our connections go beyond just physical present.
Yeah, classes time. And then the poem throws this curveball. So DNA designs the stuff of dreams. Okay, that's a big statement. What could that possibly mean for how we see our memories or even our future hopes?
It's a really arresting line, isn't it? It's suggesting something quite radical. That maybe our memories, dreaming, the ability to recall, maybe it's not just, mental software. Maybe it's linked fundamentally to our hardware, our genes, our DNA. The sources seem to hint that our past experiences, maybe even the seeds of our future desires, could be somehow written into our biology,
Yeah.
which kind of challenges how much control we think we have over our own minds, right? If it's partly pre-programmed.
Whoa, biology playing that deep a role. So where does that leave the power of the mind itself? Because the poem also pushes back, suggesting the mind can overcome time's limits. It mentions some Proustian taste or scent or singing phrase defies the natural law it disobeys. That sounds pretty defiant.
Yeah.
Disobeying natural law.
It is defiant. And yes, the Proustian bit is a clear nod to Marcel Proust. The famous Madeleine cake dipped in tea, bringing back this rush of childhood memory, involuntary memory. The poem's saying, look, The body gets old, it follows the rules, physics, biology, whatever, but the mind, triggered by a taste, a smell, a sound, it can jump back. It can relive the past so intensely that it's almost like cheating time, bending the rules. The past isn't just gone, it's accessible, right here, inside. Shows how flexible our inner timeline can be.
Which leads perfectly into maybe the most profound line in the whole thing. Life will be mine as long as my mind is me. What's the implication there? Where does identity really live according to this? Does that resonate with you personally?
I think it's a really powerful claim about the self. It anchors identity firmly in consciousness, in memory, not in the physical body, not in how many years you've lived, but in the continuity of the mind. Your awareness. It's saying, as long as I am thinking, remembering, feeling, I am still here. It's a kind of defiance against physical decline, isn't it? Suggesting the core essence of a person is in that mental flow. And for you, listening, it makes you ask yourself, right, what is the essential me? Is it this body? Or is it the thoughts, the awareness inside? It's kind of beautiful, the idea that your core self might be timeless in a way.
Yeah, timeless. Okay, so as we kind of wrap up our look at this poem, it ends with a real twist, almost a surprise. It's not all about finally looking back or wishing you were young again. Not at all. The final lines are, while youth, its wounds, anxieties, and pain are best remembered, not endured again. That's quite a contrast to all the deep memory exploration before it.
It is, isn't it? It pulls you up short. The reflection on youth isn't nostalgic. Well, it sounds like relief, actually. Those wounds, anxieties, and pain, the tough parts of being young, the speaker says, they're best remembered, not endured again. So while the mind can revisit the past, there's absolutely zero wish to go back there physically, especially not to the hard stuff. And what's really interesting is how it positions old age. It's presented almost as a peaceful arrival point, a time for quiet thought, free from all that youthful struggle. So that journey down into the pit of memory, it's not about wanting to be young. It seems more like a way to understand and appreciate the whole path taken, everything that led to this moment of Hadar. Maybe peace. Hard one understanding, perhaps. It really reframes what getting older can offer.
Okay, so let's recap this deep dive quickly, this amazing poem and the analysis. It's helped us see memory not as some dusty archive or straight line, but more like a dynamic landscape, maybe even one we shape ourselves. We touched on that really surprising, almost startling idea of a link between our DNA and our inner world. Our memories, our dreams, somehow biological. And then that profound thought that our identity, our self, might actually transcend physical aging through the power, the continuity of the mind.
Right. Which leaves us, and you listening, with a final thought to maybe chew on.
Yeah.
If our memories aren't just echoes, but this active, maybe even genetically influenced, ever-present part of who we are, and if our true identity lies in that continuity of mind, what does that really mean for how we think about our own lives, our legacy, what we might still become, and maybe what it even means to be you across a whole lifetime?